Hey guys, welcome to this week's video, or if you're listening, this week's podcast. This episode is going to be all about breaking down the music that's featured in this trailer, A Million Miles Away, which is based on the real-life story of NASA flight engineer Jose Hernandez, and it's starring Michael Pena, which is really great for me to see. I love this guy. I think he's been brilliant in so many supporting roles, especially in Ant-Man. I love him in Ant-Man. So it's really nice to see him in this role, getting the lead. Now, I've chosen this month to focus on this trailer because I just think the music that we hear is so unusual for a trailer, but it's just brilliant. I think there's about 3 or maybe 4 tracks going on, maybe even just 2, but there's 3 distinct moods, obviously, for the 3 acts, and it's just fantastic. So let's dive in and see what the music's doing, why it's doing it, and how it's doing it.
So, what's your big goal, dream?
I want to be an astronaut.
Oh my God, you're serious? Okay.
Right, I'm going to stop it there. I love this intro. It's just fantastic because the whole scene there is kind of setting the scene for this, what looks like a normal dude just saying to his girlfriend or wife, hey, you know what? Out of the blue, I'm going to be an astronaut. And the music reflects that. The music is saying, it's this sort of dreamy, ethereal, intangible sound, this kind of lovely, almost Brian Eno-esque synth sound that makes it feel like he's dreaming. I just think it's such a great touch. It's like, hey, you know what? He wants to be an astronaut. Oh, you're just dreaming. And that's so often the response when people say things like that out of the blue about careers they want to do. I know I had it when I was like, I'm going to be a musician. Everyone's like, nice try. Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll show you. And this is the story here, and this is what I love. So we're going to crack on into the trailer.
I wanted this for almost 30 years.
Ma, ¿para qué sirven las estrellas?
Every decision I've made with the space program in mind.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Jose Hernandez, sir. I'm an engineer.
You're the new guy, right? That 3rd floor men's room needs toilet paper.
Right, I'm going to stop it there. Love the clap, the small percussion. Because what it does is it brings drive to those ethereal synths. And that's really important because in the first scene, we hear him stating he wants to be an astronaut. And then the second scene, second half of Act 1, we see him going for it. There's drive, but it still feels ethereal. It still feels like a dream. And I think that's such a nice touch. And it's, I love small percussion because it also brings a sort of element of quirkiness to it. It brings an element of closeness, which is important in this story. This is one man's story, basically. And they're kind of making him seem small and insignificant. Who are you? And he can't even sit at the desk without stumbling. The music is just reflecting that so well.
Going to space. It's a stupid dream. Last 10 candidates were chosen from 12,962 applicants. It's never going to happen.
Those people who got into the program, what do they have that you don't?
Okay, before we dive into Act 2 properly, I kind of want to highlight this small section, the kind of indie acoustic edge. So we'll have a listen to it again. I want you to think, what is it doing and why is it doing it?
We're chosen from 12,962 applicants. It's never going to happen.
Those people who got into the program, what do they have?
I love that weird, sort of slightly out of tune note. It's like the realization's hitting. The kind of quirky acoustic thing continues and it makes it all feel slightly silly. And that's what this last scene here is about. Her being like, this is going to be hard. So that's where we're brought into Act 2. This is when the work begins.
That you don't.
They have skills that I don't have. It's taken them years to get where they are, but there's no guarantee. I know this is hard on everybody. My body hurts, I can't sleep. I know I can make this work. Over the last 10 years,
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. I really love the music that's used here. This kind of like fast-paced, still small-sounding string section with big hits. And that's the point. It's bringing in the drive and it's bringing in the scale of the story, but not too much.
they have skills that I don't have. It's taken them years to get where they are.
What it's doing is giving this character and this story momentum, but not just momentum like kind of like aspirational momentum. It's kind of like it feels like you're pushing against something. The music is really making us feel like that, and then him kind of fighting
no
like
guarantee.
this.
I know this is hard on everybody.
And interestingly enough, the music's not really resolving. It's got this incessant and the chord progression doesn't ever seem to resolve properly because of the changing bass line within the inversions. And that makes this kind of feel like he's not there yet.
My body hurts, I can't sleep. I know I can make this work.
Okay. End of Act 2, really. We're going to go hit into Act 3. He's just got the letter, "We regret to inform you." So now, this is kind of like the end of Act 2, where it's like, okay, the character has hit their major crisis. And what is the music going to do now to lift us into them overcoming that, which is going to be the third act?
Over the last 10 years, I've applied to the space program 12 times, and I've been on the verge of giving up after each and every rejection. But you know what, sir? Here I am. So you could turn me down again, but rest assured, I'll be standing here again in a year.
We grew up.
Yes. So they just use that tiny little clip with that kind of like almost CSI type knocking synth sound to kind of like bring the tension, the tension that he's gone for this and he's failed, but he's not giving up. And that's where the big lift
Grew
comes.
up watching our people make sacrifices. It's on us now.
Tenacity is a superpower.
This may not be your future, but it will always be your past.
Who better to leave this planet and dive into the unknown than a migrant farm worker?
5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah!
You're not crying, are you, Pa?
No, hombre, no. Some dirt got into my eye.
Dude, what better way to finish a trailer like this with uplifting, huge cinematic pop rock, a la M83. I mean, I feel like I'm tearing up. Love that last scene, especially that drum fill as the edits increase. Yes. So good. So good. And I love this ending as well.
Got into my
That kind of before the Prime logo comes in, that kind of like lovely kind of ethereal synth. It kind of returns, but it doesn't have the dreamy sense to it. It feels more grounded. Maybe because of what we've just seen. Fantastic trailer, and I love the music choices and usages throughout. We're starting off with this ethereal, dreamy thing that makes the character feel like he's dreaming. And that kind of continues, this sort of small, quirky guy just trying to achieve something that's impossible, and then he goes for it and he fights against the rising tide and he wins, and you see him win, but you want to know how he does it. Masterful. It's just brilliant, and I love the music that's used in this. Like, I love it. So I hope you enjoyed this breakdown, and I hope you enjoy this trailer. I definitely want to watch this movie, and I'll see you in the next one.